Dublin Airport's just opened a direct gateway to Shanghai. Ireland's expanding its reach across the world in a major way this morning. Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Brief. Today's Wednesday, 22nd July 2026. I'm Neil, and in the next few minutes, I'll take you through the news that matters at home in Ireland, then across to Britain, and out into the wider world. Everything you need to know before the day begins. Ireland. Let's begin here at home, in Ireland. A nationwide hosepipe ban is coming into force on Friday as drought conditions grip the country. The measure, expected to last more than a month, already applies to Dublin, South Tipperary and parts of Kildare, Meath, Wexford and Wicklow, and it's now being extended across the entire island, despite forecasts of rain over the weekend. Here at home, that means Irish households and businesses face strict limits on garden watering, car washing and outdoor water use during the summer months. A reminder of the pressure on our water infrastructure during hot spells. Now, turning to that Dublin Airport story we mentioned at the top. A new direct route from Dublin to Shanghai has just taken off, marking a significant expansion of Ireland's international air connectivity. The route strengthens Dublin's position as a major European aviation hub and opens up direct business and leisure travel to Asia for Irish passengers. For anyone in Dublin, Cork or Galway, the practical impact is easier access to Asian markets and tourism opportunities, and a boost to Ireland's standing as a global aviation gateway competing with other European airports. A woman in her 50s has been seriously injured following an assault at a church in Tramore, County Waterford. A man in his 30s has been charged in connection with the incident, which disrupted what had been a peaceful gathering. Gardaí continue to investigate the circumstances. And finally in this section, commuters in Cork have been offered refunds after the new Cork Leap card system resulted in some users being wrongly charged. The Transport Authority is working to resolve access issues with the new fare system that prevented some passengers from using their cards correctly. For Cork commuters, this hits the pocket during summer, when travel costs can add up. But at least the refunds are being processed quickly to put things right. UK. Now, across the Irish Sea to the UK, Andy Burnham has become Prime Minister and held his first cabinet meeting today, announcing a cut to VAT on household electricity as part of his cost of living agenda. More than half of the previous cabinet has been removed or demoted in a major reshuffle. Why does this matter on this side of the Irish Sea? Because UK energy policy directly shapes cross-border energy markets and inflation trends on the island, setting the political tone for future UK-Ireland negotiations on trade and economic matters. Sir Chris Bryant, a former Anglican priest, has taken up the role of Northern Ireland Secretary under the new government, replacing Hilary Benn. Bryant has outlined a checklist of issues he intends to address in what is one of Westminster's most demanding portfolios. The NI Secretary sits at the heart of cross-border relations and the implementation of the Windsor Framework, meaning Dublin will be watching closely to see how Bryant approaches the shared issues that affect the entire island. A health worker evacuated from the Democratic Republic of the Congo is being monitored at a specialist hospital in London after potential exposure to Ebola during the ongoing outbreak in that region. The worker is being assessed as a precaution following their humanitarian deployment. Disease outbreaks and public health emergencies in the UK can have cross-border implications for Irish healthcare coordination and shared epidemiological concerns on the island. And finally, out into the wider world. Ukrainian President Zelensky has dismissed the country's top army commander, Oleksandr Syrsky, following days of public protest over military leadership decisions. The move creates fresh uncertainty in Kyiv as the war with Russia continues and reflects internal tensions over military strategy and public confidence in the armed forces. Ukraine's political and military stability directly affects European security and EU unity on aid and sanctions, principles of international law and sovereignty that Ireland upholds as a member state. Across the Atlantic, US President Trump has announced 50% tariffs on Canada, escalating a trade war and prompting Canadian officials to consider retaliation. The move threatens continental trade relationships and economic stability across North America. For Ireland, this matters because Canada is a key EU and Irish trading partner, and US tariff escalation creates unpredictable conditions affecting Irish exports, signalling broader protectionist trends that could impact Irish businesses with North American operations. The Trump administration plans to pursue congressional approval for a nuclear energy agreement with Saudi Arabia, despite concerns that it lacks adequate non-proliferation safeguards. This marks a significant shift in US nuclear policy and Middle East strategy. The key consequence is potential destabilization in a critical global energy market and a challenge to the international non-proliferation standards that Europe and Ireland support. And Boeing has requested US government intervention over a substantial EU loan package to competitor Airbus, a move escalating transatlantic trade tensions. The dispute centers on state subsidies in the aerospace sector and the risk of retaliatory measures on both sides. For Ireland, this matters because Airbus operates significant manufacturing and employment here, while US trade policy directly affects Irish companies in the aerospace supply chain and broader EU-US trade relations that shape Irish exports. A lot moving this morning. Tensions flaring across trade and defense, water running short at home, and new connections opening up for Irish business abroad. And that's the morning brief for today. Whatever the day brings, take it steady. I'm Neil. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Until then, look after yourself. Finally, the European Commission has handed down a substantial penalty to AliExpress, the Chinese e-commerce platform, fining it €629 million for failing to prevent the sale of counterfeit and illegal goods. It's a major enforcement action against online platforms operating within EU territory and marks a significant crackdown on fake products. Here at home, that means Irish consumers are protected by this ruling. You have recourse and protection when you're buying online in Europe, and legitimate Irish businesses competing against counterfeits now have stronger rules backing them up. A lot moving this morning: a bail system in crisis, housing policy shifting, a new Prime Minister in London, and global instability rippling through food and fuel markets. But there's also hope in renewable breakthroughs and the possibility of de-escalation in the Middle East. And that's the morning brief for today. Whatever the day brings, take it steady. I'm Neil. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Until then, look after yourself.